They don't fear your presence. They fear the unknown behind it. You walk in without announcement. No forced smile. No need to prove. And somehow, you shift the atmosphere. Not through noise, but through absence. Because your power isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's not desperate for validation. It waits. It listens. It watches with eyes that see too much. People don't know how to categorize you. You don't fit into a mood. You don't play a role. And in a world obsessed with categories, that's terrifying. They call you distant. They say you lack warmth. They accuse you of being too quiet, too guarded. But what they're really saying is, I can't read you. And what can't be read can't be controlled. This isn't about being cold. This is about protecting your sovereignty. See, the moment the world can define you, it begins to shape you. It starts to poke, to provoke, to prod until you dance to its rhythm. But you remain still, unmoved, unshaken. You speak when you intend to, not when you're expected to. You don't overshare. You don't perform emotion for approval. You've learned what's sacred should remain private. What's strong doesn't need to convince. This trait unnerves people because they're used to reactions, to people proving, chasing, defending. You do none of that. You give no easy signal, no emotional cues, no obvious tells. And so they start to spiral. They create stories in their minds to fill your silence. Is he angry? Is she judging me? Does he think he's better? Number, you're just not performing. You've chosen self-possession over self-promotion. You've chosen control over comfort. This is the quiet power most never master. The ability to hold tension instead of fleeing from it, to observe chaos without rushing to tame it, to remain still while the world trembles. You've probably seen it. In a room full of people speaking over each other, there's one person, silent, calm, and yet everyone notices them. Why? Because silence is magnetic, especially when it's intentional. Most people speak to reduce their anxiety. They fear being misunderstood, so they explain. They fear disconnection, so they overshare. They fear irrelevance, so they overcompensate. But you've made peace with being misunderstood. You've accepted that being unknown is often safer than being known, not because you're hiding, but because you're choosing what to reveal and when. This isn't manipulation. This is maturity. This is knowing that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. We live in a culture of constant exposure. People confuse transparency with trust. They post their pain for likes. They announce their intentions to be perceived as honest. But here's the paradox. The more you show, the more they own. The more you reveal, the more they can use it against you. And the more they understand you, the easier it becomes to predict you. Predictable people are controllable, and controllable people are rarely respected. But the person who remains undefined, they command attention without effort. Because mystery invites projection, and projection gives you power. Power isn't about domination, it's about direction. The most powerful individuals are not those who force others to obey. They are the ones who shift the emotional climate without saying a word. They speak with their presence, with their restraint, with their discipline to say less. You see, in most people, emotions leak. Their face betrays their mood. Their tone betrays their insecurity. Their words betray their desperation. But you've sealed those leaks. Not because you feel nothing, but because you refuse to be ruled by what you feel. And that's what makes you rare. Emotional sovereignty is the new form of strength. Not the absence of emotion, but the ability to contain it. The world rewards reactivity, but only temporarily. The tantrum may go viral, but it never earns lasting power. Why? Because true influence requires composure. Control. The ability to navigate pressure without cracking, to speak after thinking, to move after measuring, to act only when it's time, not when you're provoked. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He warned rulers, never reveal your desperation, because the moment they see your need, they no longer need you. Appear strong even when you are uncertain. Project calm even in the middle of chaos. Why? Because perception shapes reality, and in politics, love is optional. But fear obeys. He wasn't telling you to be cruel, he was telling you to be strategic, to recognize that your power is not in proving your kind. It's in controlling the image people see when they look at you. People trust confidence, but they follow mystery. So when you speak sparingly, people listen. When you delay your reaction, people adapt. When you choose stillness over spectacle, they begin to wonder what you know that they don't. And wonder is power, because the unknown always carries more weight than the explained. And the man who doesn't explain, he owns the room, not because he demands it, but because everyone's watching him, waiting. The still man becomes the mirror. And in that mirror, people see themselves. They project their fears, their insecurities, their desires, all onto your blank canvas. And when they do, you learn everything about them. Without saying a word, this is psychological jujitsu. You reveal nothing. They reveal everything. Think about the people you remember, not the loudest ones, not the most reactive, but the ones who carried a presence, the ones who felt anchored even when the world was spinning, the ones who made you feel exposed just by looking at you. That's the effect of someone who has mastered their presence. They don't need to perform it. They are it, because confidence isn't posture. It isn't a louder voice or a firmer handshake. It's the quiet conviction that you don't need to chase attention to know you hold value. We live in a time of performance. People mistake visibility for importance. They fight to be seen, forgetting that mystery is magnetic. But you are not a brand. You are not a slogan. You are not here to be decoded. You are here to observe, to understand, to decide who and what is worth your time. And that detachment, that unwillingness to give yourself away, it creates tension. Because in your silence, others get loud. In your stillness, they grow frantic. And in your refusal to perform, they lose their script. You become the unknown variable in every room. And that makes you unforgettable. So here's the truth. Power doesn't come from what you show. It comes from what you withhold. Respect doesn't come from noise. It comes from restraint. And presence doesn't come from being the center of attention. It comes from being the center of yourself. Still, anchored, untouched. You don't need to react to be strong. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You don't need to be seen to have impact. Because in a world addicted to noise, stillness is the final rebellion. And the man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't perform, who doesn't reveal unless he chooses to, that man is already in control. If this stirred something within you, don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep reflections every day. This is Deep Thoughts Daily. Thank you for watching, and keep thinking deeper.